This information you are about to hear and perhaps view, these are not necessarily the thoughts or the ideas of Gary C.Clement or the Gary Clement Radio Show podcast. We are in no way, shape, or form affiliated with the parties this story is about or was interviewed for. Parts of this content may not be owned by or the property of the Gary Clement Radio Show podcast, G2 Network Media, or any other company we are affiliated with, and this information is strictly the opinion of those being interviewed. This content is for information purposes only, and although we may make reference to various news stories, we share our own independent beliefs about the content and provide our own opinions. Please enjoy the information. Yes, this is Gary Clement from the Gary Clement Radio Show podcast. And today we have one of the legends of the entertainment industry. The record industry would not be the same without people like my guest today. He used to work at Sony Columbia Records for years and worked with all kinds of people. And today he does his own thing. His name is Mr. Luther Clark. How are you, sir?
Hey, I'm doing good, Gary. How are you?
Great. Wonderful. Wonderful. Okay. So first of all, tell us about, how you broke into urban radio promotion to start with, please.
Well, my story is a unique story. Most people, when they get into the music business, they start out as an intern. And with me, I was fortunate enough that my cousin, she was working in the business. Two of my cousins were working in the business since the 70s when they started at Columbia Records and Epic Records when it was owned by CBS. So I think I got to learn about the business when I was like 15 years old because they were already entrenched in the game. And so I watched how things happen in the gig business. And I was like, wow, this is an interesting business. Because I was at a young age. I met, people like Johnny Mathis and Sly and the Family Stone, Earth, Wind and Fire, Denise Williams, Cheryl Lynn, and stuff. So I got a chance to meet those people. But to be honest with you, Gary, if it wasn't for a guy by the name of Liberace, who got sick in 1980, I think it was 87, 86, and he died a year later, I wouldn't have got into urban music because I met Liberace through my late friend, Miss Mary Moore, and his manager and I became so cool, and I became cool with Lee, that he asked me did I want to move to LA to learn how to pretty much not learn how, but to relieve him of his duties by traveling with, Liberace. And I couldn't believe it. And I was so excited. But then he had to cut his Radio City shows because that was mainly his primary thing, Radio City, when he did New York. And he got sick. And I was sad because he was such a nice guy. Liberace was a nice guy. He told me you can call me Lee. And then after that, I got into, into the music, urban business, into the urban game. And then I had buddies, a lot of these people, these two names are going to be unfamiliar to a lot of your listeners, but there was a guy called Vaughn Harper. Look him up. He created, after the Quiet Storm was created, he took it, to another level. Mm-hmm. And then it was a guy by the name of Frankie Crocker. We called him Frankie the Chief Rocker Crocker. Mm-hmm. And I was affiliated with BLS because I had played basketball for their team. And then the owner, Mr. Sutton, he became my mentor. So I got a chance. Vaughn was already a friend of mine. So I was able to be around those two dynamic voices. And I learned a lot about the business. But look up those two people, listeners, and you think radio is you think you like some of the jocks today, but if you go back and you look them guys up on YouTube and you hear them, you're gonna say, "Oh wow."
Hmm. Right. Okay. So, because years ago there was Jack the Rapper, which brought all those guys together in one spot, and I know you have
Yes.
some, and I know you have some stories from Jack the Rapper as well.
I'm taking them with me to the grave. Nah, nah, I had some stories, man. Jack became a mentor of mine. It's actually I met Jack before I got into the music business because Vaughn was not was a personal friend of mine, me and my buddy uh Tony Blades. So Vaughn would like, yo, come on with me to Jack the Rapper. We never had to pay for anything, our hotel, our airline, our food. And then Jack, he had saw us play because he came up to New York and he had told Vaughn, I can't use exact words that Jack used, but I need two of your players because Coca-Cola is beating my you know what every year. And I need to beat Coca-Cola because Coca-Cola was a big sponsor of Jack the Rapper.
Hmm.
And so the year that I went down that I met Jack, we actually beat Coca-Cola. And then that's when I met a lot of the other people, the big wheels, the SVPs, and even on the independent level, I met a lot of people that own their own labels and being distributed by major labels. I got a chance to meet them, and then when it was time for me to get into the music business, to get on the urban side, not only was Frankie and Vaughn helping me, but I had other people to help me out as well.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Because like for me, I was young at the time. Jack the Rapper was like all fun, and I was taking pictures of everybody that was there, and
Right, right.
so it was like fun and games in a sense for me. But it sounds like it was all business for you.
Well, it wasn't. It was what it was. It was business because see, I have a business background. My
Hmm.
background is marketing, promotion, but I was a successful salesman before I got into the music business.
Okay.
So one thing you learn about in sales is that when you venture into something else, you got to first understand what you're venturing into. And so, and this came from successful people. And so I did that. Then once I understood what I was about the record business, then it was fun and games. And when I finally got my first check from Uptown Records, shout out to the late Andre Harrell,
Hmm.
who put me in the game. He gave me my first job, which he didn't have to because everybody wanted to work for Uptown. Even though people talk negative about Uptown,
Hmm.
but everybody wanted to work for Uptown because back in the 90s, all the hit records was coming from Motown, but a lot of them was coming from this boutique label called Uptown Records.
Hmm. Because at the
You
time,
see?
yeah, at the time, tell us some of the artists that were on that label at the time.
Well, Uptown had Heavy,
Hmm.
the late Heavy D.
Hmm.
You know, I miss Hev. Hev was a good guy.
Hmm.
Jodeci, Mary J, Mary J. Blige,
Hmm.
Father MC, and then later, and then little Sean came, Monifa, and then right before Uptown, shut down, we have Anthony Hamilton. I was actually the first rep to take Anthony on the road,
Hmm. Okay.
you know.
Hmm.
And so yeah, so we had Anthony Hamilton, and he blew up. And see, what a lot of people don't know is that, and I just had a conversation with a PD that just came into the Carolinas. He's down in Greenville, South Carolina. His name is Mike McGuire.
Hmm.
And Mike, Mike is a renowned PD. He's been in the business over 20 years. Not only is he a good guy, but he's a dope PD. And Mike, we were just talking about how if the whole if Andre didn't lose Uptown Records, Uptown Records would have been the 2000 version of Motown.
Mm-hmm.
And when I say that, this is me, but a lot of people that I shared this with agree, because the reason why I say that is because Devontae, which was a part of Jodeci,
Mm-hmm.
he had Missy Elliott,
Mm-hmm.
Timberland and Magoo,
Mm-hmm.
and Genuine.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then Puff had Biggie, Craig Mack, and Faith.
Mm-hmm.
And we had Have, Mary J, Jodeci, Anthony Hamilton,
Mm-hmm.
Monifa. So now all of them under one umbrella, okay, and 90% of those artists that I mentioned went platinum plus.
Yep, absolutely.
You see? So that's why I say that Uptown would, because all of those Puff, Devontae, all of them was going, all the artists was going to come under the Uptown umbrella.
Right. Gotcha. Gotcha.
You see what I'm saying? So that's why I'm saying that we would have been, this is just my opinion,
Mm-hmm.
that Uptown would have been would have been the 2000 version of Motown, because you look at all the great artists that Motown had
Mm-hmm.
and look at the artists that I just mentioned, and 90% of those artists went on to sell multi-platinum record.
Right. Absolutely. Okay. Now, as you moved from there into the years of Sony and Columbia, talk a little bit about that transition, and once you got there, some of the artists that you actually work with there.
Okay, with with um with Sony Columbia Records, I had good, bad, and dope years with
Okay.
that label.
Okay.
Okay, now one of the things I'm happy about, I was able to work with some artists that I helped develop from day one,
Mm-hmm.
and it was Destiny's Child,
Mm-hmm.
then Beyonce,
Mm-hmm.
Little Bow Wow, then to Bow Wow, uh, Mary Mary, John Legend, and Life Jennings. Those were artists that I was able to work with from day one. And then, you work with your Fugees and Maxwell's and Nas's and, Mariah Carey's and, stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So, but, I mean, when I look back on it, I mean, I don't regret anything, and, I don't regret, like I said, I don't regret getting into the music business, and I definitely don't regret going to that label, because Michael Malden, which is Jermaine's father, I knew him, and Demet Guidry, I knew them,
Mm-hmm.
from meeting them at conventions and whatnot.
Right.
You know, it was just sad how the politics, the BS politics at Columbia Records, broke us up.
Mm. Right. Right. I hear you.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
um, that was the only thing that was one of the things I didn't like,
Mm-hmm.
about working there. There's a number of other things, but that was the first one.
Right. I see. I see. So, okay. So, as the record industry, like you said, has changed when over the years, just listening to you, it sounds as if, like you said, and I know this too to be true, but it's not just about business, but because there's so much money involved, because you got famous people that you're dealing with, politics become a big issue, a big problem in certain instances, and cause different things to create bigger situations. I know you've got something, I know something in there, sparks your attention with that too, that question.
Yeah, true that. Oh, true that. Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of things about the music business that I don't like. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I'm gonna when I'm out this game completely, I'm gonna put a book together, and share a lot of stuff that I didn't like about this business. You know, um, talk about how racist this business is.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because working at Columbia, it was a racist. It was racism, a lot of racism there.
Mm.
You know,
Okay. Okay.
you
So,
know, people don't see one thing. A lot of people don't like talking about it,
mm-hmm.
but see, I'm like this. I sleep like a baby at night. And
Right.
one of the reasons why is because I keep it 100. Um, I don't intentionally try to hurt anybody's feelings.
Mm-hmm.
But if somebody said I hurt their feelings and they explain to me what I did, if I say, okay, yeah, you're right, I'll apologize.
Right. Mm-hmm.
You see? And there was times in this game where apologies were supposed to be given, and the person or persons that were supposed to do it, they never did, and
Right.
that
Mm-hmm.
bothered me too.
Mm-hmm.
You see, because keep it 100.
Right. But we were talking earlier, and like you said, that, you are old school, and your parents and stuff, taught you from, I guess you could say, like a Southern, style of honest thinking and honest, giving or helping toward people or whatnot. I tell you, like you said, I run into a lot of people and stuff that don't believe like I do. You, you, you
They
see
don't
what I'm saying?
believe like I do.
Yeah. Right. Right. Mm-hmm.
See, See, I was taught to respect people.
Mm-hmm.
You see, I was taught to do that. See, and there was people in the music business that I don't know what they were taught.
Right.
See, but some of them didn't believe in that.
Mm-hmm.
But that's how I was taught to you treat people fairly. See, so that's why I met so many people. There's some people to this day I still stay in contact with because I just kept it 100 with them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, so um, that's just the way I am. I mean, I treat people the way I think it was John F. Kennedy said this once: "Do unto others as you want others to do unto you."
Right. Absolutely.
I think President Kennedy said that, but if he didn't, whoever said it, that's my motto.
Right. Okay. Very good. Okay. So, and we kind of touched on this before, but what do you miss about how things used to be in the business years ago?
Only thing I miss is getting that check.
Okay.
I miss that bag. That's what I do. That's the only thing I really miss is that I miss. No, let me take that back. I miss the bag, but I miss the people that I work with. There was some nice. There was, like I said, through my travels, to different states, to different cities, to different radio stations. I met some really nice people.
Hmm.
I met I'm sorry, I met some a-holes, but I really met some really, excuse me for saying what almost slipping, but I met some really nice people. And those are some of the people I miss. I miss those people. I miss meeting nice people.
I
You
see.
know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
But that's it. You know what I mean? Today's music, I don't really particularly care for today's music. You know,
Hmm.
I can't tell you the last time. Only stations that I listen to are the urban AC stations, and for you folks who don't understand what that is, that's like your adult stations.
Hmm.
You know, like if in the Raleigh Durham area, like Foxy, I
Right.
miss stations like that. But I don't miss the other stations because I just don't like the music. I listen to it. There's some good music, but to me, there's more bad music than there is good current music.
Right. Okay. Now that kind of leads me to my next question too. Because today's industry is very digital and more online than anything else. Not many record stores anymore. What are the challenges of artists selling records now compared to how it used to be when you were, like you said, out on the road? Helping promote those artists.
Personally, I don't think there's any challenges today because you got outlets. You got Apple, Google, Spotify, Titan. And I know I'm missing some others. You could stream the albums now.
Mm-hmm.
See? So the only people that I feel for are the ma and pas.
Right.
Like when I used to work the area, the Durham, Raleigh Durham area, I believe there was it Willie's Music?
Yeah, I remember that.
Okay, so that was a ma and pa store that you could go in, and I met a lot of people. I met the people in Charlotte, Greensboro, and the Raleigh area.
Mm-hmm.
See? And so now, in order to still get, the music, there's a company called DTLR,
Mm-hmm.
so you can go in there and buy the latest sneakers and hoodies, and you can also get music because they're hip hop. They're a hip hop store, and they sell music. To me, that's the only closest thing to a ma and pa store.
Right.
You see,
Mm-hmm.
and from when I talk to the young people, some of the young people still would like the CD because they want to read who wrote the song. They want to read what kind of instruments did they use to make the song. And that's all that when you buy the CD. But the internet has helped the people sell music. And believe it or not, the internet has helped to break a lot of artists. See,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
because in 2020, independent artists, during the height of the pandemic, independent artists made $1.2 billion in record sales.
Wow.
Yeah, I was shocked, but someone pulled it up for me, sent it to me. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And that was all due, it wasn't with no commercial radio. That was all due to the internet.
Right.
Internet radio, people doing IG lives, Facebook lives. I don't even think TikTok was real big in 2020.
Right.
I think they were around, but see, so now, you got 1,000,001 different artists now, independent artists.
Yeah.
That's on social media. So, so you can say that if you do the right marketing and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
you can sell records.
Right. Gotcha. And actually, to tell the truth, you probably can do a lot better too than the cut you used to get and stuff through Columbia Records or MC or the record companies back in the day. Because now, like I
Well,
said, you can get 100% of the profits for yourself, opposed to having to do a 20/70 or 20/80 split or something.
right. See, ask Chance the Rapper
Mm-hmm.
and ask Lecrae.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can ask some of these other artists that never got signed by a label, but they did their own independent thing. You see?
Right.
See, 'cause I tell artists that every artist think that, okay, I got to get a record deal. But a lot of them, they don't really understand. I tell them it's not like it used to be. They don't spend the money like they used to. You might have to sign a 360 deal.
Mm-hmm.
And they be like, what's that? I said, go look it up.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's more than what me just telling you. You got to read it, understand it. So go read it,
Mm-hmm.
and then you can do a project.
Mm-hmm.
And guess what? The label can decide after you do the project, they can decide they don't want to put you out, and they can put you on the shelf. They can either keep you there or they can drop you, but they don't spend money on you. See?
Right. Right.
So, what I tell people that if you're really serious about your craft, read, understand it, and then go. You can do fundraisers to help you raise the money to get your recording done, to get your marketing and promotions done. You can do that,
Mm-hmm.
and you'll find yourself happier. You own your masters. You don't have to worry about, the record company telling you what to do. And like I tell people, record companies, they've made numerous mistakes on artists, numerous,
Mm-hmm.
so that doesn't mean that that's because they're SVP or whatever, that doesn't, or A&R person, that doesn't mean that makes them know more than you,
Right.
you know,
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
you see, I mean, I was reading something about 3 years ago, 4 years ago about Katy Perry. And I didn't know Katy Perry was signed to Columbia Records,
Okay. Mm-hmm.
but she killed Columbia Records. And a girl that I know is friends with Katy Perry, and she gave me some more 411 about Katy Perry's ordeal with Columbia Records.
Okay.
And now you look at her now. Not only is she killing American Idol, but her music that she puts out, I think she's on Capitol Records, I believe.
I think so. Mm-hmm.
But every album she puts out is platinum plus.
Right. Gotcha. Okay. And
See,
mhm. Okay. All right.
no,
Now you said something. I kind of want to go back for a second because I remember earlier you said something about with today's music, the rap or whatnot. Like you say again, your specialty and what you love, I would guess, like you said, is the old school R&B. Maybe some of the old school hip hop, whatnot. But today's music, today's lyrics, where does your mind? What do you think about what these artists today are putting out?
well, today's artist is like I like J. Cole, I
Hmm.
like Kendrick Lamar, I like Drake. Um, there's a couple of more, but when I hear a lot of these other guys, I listen to them, but I'm like, okay, they might go up the charts, but once they come down, they're not going to be recurrent. See? And then when I talk to PDs, they'll tell me, oh, yeah, we got artists that go up the charts, they do this. But then once they come down and they won't be a recurrent record. You see? They
Okay.
won't be like the artists like, Nas, Buster, cats like that who you still hear them, 20 years later.
Okay.
You see?
Okay.
You see? So, and then I look at the R&B. A lot of R&B is not that good, you know.
Hmm.
So, and then when you get a certain age, they take you from mainstream because they said you too old. Then they put you on the UAC station.
Hmm.
You see. But my thinking is it doesn't matter what your age is. It's what if those Gen Zs and the millennials, if they like it, you know, they'll listen to it. But that's just still the methodology that these radio stations still have, that when you get a certain age, you got to be put on an urban AC station. And from what I've been hearing, the urban AC stations are doing a lot better than the mainstream stations because you got the young kids as well as the mature folks listening to the urban AC stations as well.
Right. Okay. Okay. Now the message or whatnot in the songs or whatnot today compared to how they used to be, like you said, years ago, where it was about fun and and
Right.
some political or whatnot. But today, like you said, the message is totally different. The artists, like you said, they have a lot more control. A lot of them are independent. Uh, I feel as if they feel like they can say whatever they want, and it's getting to our communities, and it's not doing a good thing. In most cases, it's hurting our communities. How do you feel about that?
Well, see, some of the stuff, a lot of the stuff that's on radio is still coming from labels. Because see, labels are the only ones, more of them, I would say only, but they're the majority of the ones that have that budget where they can go ahead and get a record on and do a promotion to help keep the record going.
Okay.
You see,
Mm-hmm.
thanks to streaming has saved the music business, in my opinion, because stations now have a lot of disposable income that they didn't have, say like in the early 2010s and stuff like that. They didn't have that. Now they got that disposable income. Now you look at Sony just spent $1 billion to buy some catalog
Mm-hmm.
a couple months ago. 4 or 5 years ago, they barely had money to keep the lights on.
Wow. Mm-hmm.
You see? So now with this streaming stuff, it's like this keeping is now is able to keep the lights on. See?
Mm-hmm.
So now the labels are now they're all in the black. So they can afford to, they're not spending money still like they used to, especially on the promotion marketing end, you know, but they are spending money, but still the music is still not that good.
Right. I
In
see.
my opinion.
I see. I got you.
You
Or,
see?
or possibly too, they are being a little bit more selective about what they get involved in.
Well, yeah, well, that's why if you notice, that's why they brought back more black executives to run the labels, because for a minute the white executives were running both urban and pop.
Okay.
You see, so now they're bringing it back. Now I'm still trying to find out. There was I forgot her name. I think she's Ethiopian. She was the president of urban for Motown,
Okay.
but she resigned, but they never said where she's going, why she left.
I
So there's
see.
all kind of speculation. I'm not even going to get into it, but it's all kind of why. But I was wondering, like, okay, now when you had some other people that left, they ended up going somewhere else. They would go like maybe an independent company, but they left a label. They told you where they were going. But with this young lady, they never said anything. And then shortly after that, I was reading maybe 3 weeks after they said she was resigning. I don't know if she left or not. Then saw that where Motown was about to lay off people.
Mm-hmm. I see.
You see, so I don't know, and it's above my pay grade now. If I was getting a bag to be an investigative reporter, I'll get on it.
Right. Right. I
But,
hear you.
but at this point, it doesn't mean that much to me. I just read up, on the different music logs, read up on things, and that's about it.
I see.
And hopefully there's something in there that's intriguing to me. Somebody need my services and want to give me that bag, I can come in and work with them.
Right. Okay. Okay. So I was
You know
gonna.
what I'm saying?
Right. Okay. Because I was gonna get to this next question too. Because like now that you're actually independent and not working for the majors anymore, um, tell us about the services that you offer now.
Okay. What I basically do is, I just don't take a client on just because they have a bag that can pay my fee. I don't want that. I run away from that if that's what people tell me they got first. Um, it's all about the person. See, person got to want to work hard. I've been spoiled.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I've worked with, I've worked with some artists that really wanted to work.
Right.
You know what I mean? And like I tell people, you guys don't know what it's like to want to work with Destiny's Child, how hard those girls worked,
Mm-hmm.
and how hard after Destiny's Child, when they broke up, how hard it was, how hard Beyonce worked, how hard Mary worked, John Legend, Life Jennings, even Bow Wow. They worked. They worked hard. That's why they were able to have the success that they had. And a few of them, but a majority of them are still having success. See, they understand the art of hard work. So I want artists that want to work hard because it's not an easy business. This is a very difficult business. See, and it takes more than having good music. Okay, you got to get on social media. You know, the internet radio is phenomenal. So they have great reaches, not only just in the U.S. but around the world. They have large listenership. They have more listenership. Some of these internet radio stations than mainstream commercial stations. You see, so you got to be able to want to work. You know, I set up and I set up I'll set up a college to a HBCU with the different colleges to go there. You know, they may allow you to perform, but if not, you can go and do radio. And usually, after that, we can go by the CAF where the students hang out, the student lounge, and sometimes you can do an impromptu, concert right there. So we do the HBCUs. I have a couple of mainstream colleges. I do that. I do get music to commercial radio, even though, you know, it's a little bit more difficult, but I get it to them, Music Choice, XM Sirius, and like I said, to the colleges. And I get it if depending on the music, if it's hip hop, we'll get it to the DJs. And I set up interviews. I do consulting, artist development, you know. And the main thing is I just help artists so they can increase, you know, I call it the legit way of getting the proper users, on YouTube and IG, because you can pay companies and they can put bogus 10,000 people on there, but it's really not. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I do all of that. I work with the artists, Mary Erica Campbell from Mary used to make a joke. She used to call me Joe Jackson because, you know, because I would be in their behinds, and I used to bite my tongue to where it was sore, or almost bit my mouth to was numb, because working with a gospel artist, you can't. It's different than working with a regular artist,
Okay.
because of the fact that, you might say, "Yo, MF, we got to do this. Come on, you MF, or come on." But with them, because they were Christian girls, but I was able to get my point across, and we laugh and we would joke. But the girls understood it, what I was doing, because when the album dropped and they would look in the market, they would look at the sound scan and see, well, wow, you know, I mean, this just happened after we just left Luther's Market. And, the records were selling,
Wow.
but now after we Luther's Market, for about 2 weeks, you'll see a tremendous jump, and
I
that's
see.
what it's all about.
Okay. And I know also too that you can, I guess, apply that same formula of what you just said to Summer Walker. That's something, like you said, it's like she blew up out of nowhere.
Well, the funny thing is,
Hmm.
I worked with Summer Walker.
Right. Hmm.
I worked with her. I'm trying to think. Um, I was doing some stuff with Sony Orchard. I know the people at Sony Orchard. Matter of fact, one of the big wheels of Sony Orchard used to work with me at Columbia. And she called me out the blue,
Hmm.
and we worked, and I told her, and we only worked for 4 months,
Hmm.
but we made some headway in the 4 months. And I sent her music out to radio. I sent her music to some big wheel, some A&R cats, you know. I have not spoken to her since. But when somebody, matter of fact, a PD up in Flint, Michigan called me and he told me, he said, man, I just got some new music on Soma Walker. She signed with such and such a label. And I was like, who's that? And he said, man, stop playing with me. You sent me her music. And I said, oh yeah. I said, oh yeah. But yeah, she's I think more it was more of a money thing than anything else.
Mm-hmm.
Because everybody thinks when you go to Sony Orchard, and I tell people, when you go to Sony Orchard, they give you a list of 3 promotional packages that they have.
Mm-hmm.
See, so everybody thinks, okay, I'm going to Sony Orchard, I'm going to be a part of their distribution. No, it doesn't work that way. If you an established artist and you've sold records before, then they'll go in and sign you to a distribution deal. They'll put up X amount of dollars that you have to recoup. But you got to go in there with the product finished. And then once the product is done, they'll give you X amount of dollars. And then once those dollars they give you, if they start to see where airplay is picking up and media is picking up, et cetera, then they'll start to put more money into you. And then when your album drop, just like at a regular label, before you get paid, you recoup. But if you're established artist, you'll recoup the money that you spent out, and then you'll start to make money from, Sony Orchard.
I see. I see. Okay.
But
Now,
but 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 a lot of people was under the impression that I could go to Sony Orchard and but no, they give you a list. They give you a marketing list, and then you pick which one you want, A, B, C, or D. And then once you do that, you sign, and then you still have to put up some money.
wow. Mm-hmm. I got you.
See,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, you sign, and then so yeah, so that's how it was with Summer Walker. She was with Sony Orchard. That's when I met her.
I see.
And then the rest is hip. I'm happy for her. She's blown up. I think she just had a baby.
Okay. Okay.
And I just read where I think she's doing something. I think J. Cole is doing something. I think she's on one of those days.
Yeah, she's got actually. I think it's the first day of the Dreamville Festival that's coming here to the Raleigh Durham
Yeah,
area. Yeah.
yeah, I saw that. I saw that. I'm gonna try to come down. I'm gonna try to come down for that.
Okay. Okay.
Because I went to J. Cole's. I didn't even know him then, but I went to J. Cole's graduation from high school.
Wow. Very interesting. Very
Yeah,
interesting.
my cousins, they live up in Fayetteville. That's what they tell me, they call Fayetteville, Fayetteville.
Yeah.
And I went I went to the graduation, and then when J. Cole was, when he got signed to Columbia, well, Mark Pitts, I think he signed to Mark Pitts, but then when he came in the building, we were talking, and I told him, I said, yo, you know my family.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, who's your family? And I told him, he said, wow, one of your cousins was my doctor.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because they're doctors up there in Fayetteville. And I told him, I said, yeah, I came to your graduation because I came to my cousin. She graduated. I was there at her graduation.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I was going to ask you. All right. So when COVID-19 hit, how did that change your business practices? How did it change your business, overall?
Shut me down.
Okay.
It shut me down because, I get paid directly from the artists.
Mm-hmm.
So artists couldn't work. Some artists were doing shows, they were paying me. Some artists was working, 9 to 5s, 8 to 4s. They couldn't pay me. So everything got shut down.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Wow.
I didn't get,
Mm-hmm.
um, but I was still on social media because I had to break the monotony of the day because I'm not used to being confined to a crib.
Right.
So, and then see, like, seeing all the Netflix movies and stuff and all that other stuff. So, what could I do? So I just got more entrenched in IG and Facebook and stuff and what's that other thing called? Clubhouse.
Okay.
And then people would send me their music and I would listen to it. A lot of it was garbage, but I would listen to it.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of it, the young folks didn't have their music copyright,
Mm-hmm.
and so but I would listen to it.
Okay.
And so that helped break the monotony. And then I would walk around in my subdivision because wasn't that many people around.
Right.
So I would go outside and walk around, get a little exercise, and then come on back in the crib.
I see. Okay. I understand. Okay. So we're getting to the end of this now. Okay. So advice for young people who want to get into record promotion now, want to know more about marketing, want to know more about developing an artist and getting them to a major label or getting a distribution deal or whatnot for their independent label. What's your advice to people?
Do your research. Go and research. Go Google stuff. Go to YouTube and go in there and put in what you want to do and read up on it. See, a lot of folks today, they didn't read up on it because I listen to people, I listen to cats when they tell me what their marketing strategies are. I listen, and it's not realistic, you see. And so that's why I tell people, understand what you want to do. If you're an artist, go read, go Google, go to YouTube. They got information on there to tell you what it entails to be an artist. See, and then if you want to do marketing and promotion, there's nothing but information that will tell you how to become one. It tells you how to be a bad one. It'll tell you how to be a successful one. You
Right.
see,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a lot of misrepresentation out there. You see, it's a lot of bad ones. And what they've done is they read up a little bit on it, then they experimented with some of the people in their hood or some of the people that they met. And then there's a lot of good ones out there, but there's a lot of bad ones, you see. And so I just tell people, treat people right. Treat people the way you want to be treated. Go do your due diligence. Research on how, just like before you become a doctor, you got to go understand what it entails to be a doctor.
Right.
If you're a dentist, you got to know what it entails to be a dentist. You got to go through training.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you got to same thing with being a doctor. I mean, being a promotion person. You got to train. You got to understand what you're doing. You understand? You got to have a liking for people. That's one of the main things. You got to like people. You can't be a person that's sourpuss. You understand? You got to like people. And because if you like people, then that'll make you want to work for the artist the right way instead of just working for the artist because the artist can afford to pay you. I don't do it just for that. I do it because I still like working with people. I still like hearing good music. And and I look at that and the main thing is the artist wants to work because got to work hard in this business. It doesn't come because you got great music, because you got 1,000,001 different people out there, and you got 2/3 of them that's all over social media.
Right. Absolutely. Okay. So please give your contact information, for listeners who might want to hire you for your consultation or your promotion services.
What I always tell people to do, just go to my website. It's real simple. digitalluther.com. digitalluther.com. Then once you look through it, then what happens then is at the end is my contact information. and then you fill it out, and then it gets sent to me.
Okay. Wonderful. Wonderful.
Real simple. If you have music that you want to send me, and it's copywritten. What I mean by copywritten, it's registered with the Library of Congress, not ASCAP, not BMI, but with the Library of Congress. Send it to digital mp3 luther at gmail.com. That's digital mp3 luther at gmail.com. Okay. Now, if you can't afford to go to the Library of Congress, then do the poor man one. Okay. Put it on a floppy disk, put it on a CD or whatever, even a cassette, whatever you can, put it on. Put it in an envelope. Don't put any tape on it. Don't put nothing on it. Seal it and mail it back to yourself. Once you retrieve it, once you get it delivered to your crib, you take it out and put it in a safe place. Don't put nothing on it. Don't put no tape on it. So God forbid, if somebody steals your music, okay, then you can take that, you can go sue that person. And then when the judge asks you, how did you register your music? And you tell them you did the poor man one, then you take them that envelope. And once they see that envelope, and if they see the stamp from the post office, and if it say if you stamped it on the 14th of March 2023, and say on 2015, somebody else tried to take your music, okay, then that way the judge can say, all right, this is your music.
We really do appreciate our guests who participated in this episode, and we hope you learned something that will bless your day and your life. For all who are interested in learning more about the Gary Clement Radio Show podcast, please visit www.amazon.com and order my book, The Gary Clement Radio Show, When Strong Afro-American Men and Women Stand Up. It covers everything about us and features a variety of Afro-American personalities who speak out about the importance of education and literacy in the Black community. Well, we thank you for tuning into our podcast. Please send us your email address so we can contact you when we have new releases and new episodes and new projects as well. You can reach us at gccpresents@yahoo.com. And also, if you're interested in submitting any materials or want to get in touch with us, please do so by simply sending an email to gccpresents@yahoo.com. That's G as in Gary, C as in Charlie, C as in Charlie, presents@yahoo.com. So until next time, do take care. And this is a G2 Network Media production.